Since 1988, Whitetail Institute has been perfecting annual and perennial seed products specifically for hunters who plant food plots. Their seeds have been engineered to be palatable, high in protein, and extremely attractive to deer. Whether you live in the Deep South or Midwest farm country, they have products that will help you grow your best food plot yet. For more information about their seeds and their blends, visit whitetailinstitute.com. Enter the discount code SE15 for 15% off. This is the Man Therapy Podcast. My name is Dan. His name is Kyle. Kyle, good week, bad week. Go.
Very good week.
Good.
Kids did a bunch of sports stuff, and that was fun. I coached our son's flag football team. I know your son's on two different teams. I get to coach one of them, and I just get a kick out of it. Even if it's like a little bit frustrating, I still think it's so fun. The kids are just hilarious. I love the ages. Our sons are 7 years old, and they're just so fucking funny. They're just little goofballs, and I think it's going to be funny because we're going to see them be seniors in high school playing whatever sports they end up playing or whatever. And I bet money we're still going to like see the 7-year-old boy in them when they're seniors. You know what I mean? Like I just look back at it and smile. Even like I was the other coach was really busy, so he couldn't help coach last night. He's a good dude. He was just busy with his job. And so I had to do it by myself, and then there were some frustrating moments because it's like herding cats. But dude, I still just can't help but smile when I think back on it, just because the kids are so goofy and fun loving, and it's a team full of friends, so they're all just freaking screwing off with each other. Then they've got that competitive edge that they want to win, and it's just really fun for me.
Yeah, I will say this: kudos to you, because you have way more patience than I would have in some of those scenarios, and how like the differences of coaching and whatnot. And I'm watching those practices, and I'm just like, holy shit. In Kyle's mind, you must just be choking all of them out.
Here and there.
Yeah, here and there. Yep.
I try to keep those like flashes really short.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Man talk, like man talk right now. Do you follow any sports teams? Are you into sports at all? Like, do you sit down and watch football teams?
Oh yeah, dude. So I'm a big Iowa Hawkeye fan. Always have been. Growing up in Iowa, we don't have any professional teams, so I never had a favorite professional sports team. So I really just like to watch a good game. So I will every single weekend. What I do is I look for like what the best matchups are, and then watch those. And I love all college sports because it's all those dudes care so much. It's for a lot of them, it's like it's their lifelong passion, and they know they're never going to play again in an organized way. So they're just playing their asses off. As far as pro sports, I love football, because you can't be lazy in football because somebody wants to kill you. So I look forward to football season. It feels so fleeting. It's only like 16 weeks long, and it's just gone. You wait for it all year long. So those are my main ones. But I'll watch the finals of everything. I'll watch the NBA finals, but I don't follow the regular season. I'll watch the World Series, but I can't watch 100+ baseball games. But football, I'll watch. Dude, I'll find myself watching. I would watch a freaking D3 matchup. Like, I don't care. Football's just fun to watch. Hockey's fun to watch in person. I don't super like to watch it on TV, but shit, man, hockey is a really fun sport to watch in person, because those motherfuckers don't ever stop.
No,
they don't even take a timeout to talk about anything. They freaking do their line changes on the fly. I love it.
Okay,
so that's where I'm at with sports. How about you?
You want to hear a crazy hockey story?
Yeah.
We're at a bar in Denver, Colorado, and this would have been 15 to 20 years ago. All right. We're at this bar, and at the time, what is it? The Colorado Avalanche or the Stars or whatever team, whatever team is out of Denver. Okay. Mm-hmm. They walk into a bar, and these guys are crushed already. right? Because the only reason I know this is because one of the guys we were with who's a hockey nut. He's like, "Hey, that's so-and-so from the Avalanche." And then it looked like, I mean, these guys just looked like they were hockey players, right? If I'm going to pass judgment on them, and they're already rocked. And so we're sitting down at a long table, and then there's two perpendicular tables off each side. It was like almost like a German style bar where there's long tables, multiple groups of people are sitting down at each table.
Right.
And they sit down on another table in a group, and there's another group of people like on the table next to them. And then as the chairs they're kind of tight, right? They're tight.
Yeah, right.
And this guy, one of the hockey players, takes a full cup of beer and dumps it in the purse of one of these chicks. Okay. Whoa. And one of the guys who were sitting across from the woman saw it, and he exploded over the table and started throwing punches at this hockey player. These other three hockey players that were on the opposite side, and this gigantic, like, it wasn't even a push like, you know how sometimes dudes are like, hey dude, and nobody does anything. This went from, just an explosion of fists and kicking and stuff. Cop showed up. Dude, it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Oh man.
Here's where you know these guys are crazy. The hockey players were laughing as they're getting punched and as they're throwing punches at other people. They're like smiling and loving this.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so, oh my God, I don't know.
That's probably the most stereotypical hockey thing I've ever heard in my life.
Right. Exactly. What can I do to make my day enjoyable, but somebody else's day really miserable? You know?
That's right.
And I hope it ends in a fight.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Fighting is like, it's like hockey guys and sometimes military guys. It's like, hey, what are you going to do? Oh, we're going to go into a bar and start a fight. Oh, okay. That's just the plan. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I know, dude, I went to college with a couple guys who, dude, they would walk into bars and they would just talk shit to, like, someone bumped them. Don't fucking ever touch me again. And then that guy would be like, chill out, dude. And they'd get real close to him.
Oh yeah.
And be like, I don't know, dude. I never was really like that. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever been in a fight?
No. I've always avoided fights. I've been punched in the face one time, and I've punched one person in the face. That's the most fighting I've done outside of like my brothers, but we never hit each other in the face. We would just pound on each other. But no, as far as people that I'm not related to, I've only punched one person in the face and only been punched in the face once. But other than that, I'm not trying to freaking get into a fight.
Right. Man, that Ped Mall in Iowa City is the death of people sometimes.
It still is to this day. Well, let me tell you an Iowa City Ped Mall story. It's a really sad one. Two dudes were fighting downtown Iowa City. One guy gets the better of the other guy. He's on top of him. He's pounding him. A nice stranger, a nice passerby comes by and sees him getting pounded and pulls the guy off him. Mm-hmm. The guy that's getting pounded was disoriented and didn't know what happened. So he regains himself and he grabs the guy that saved him, thinking it's the attacker, grabs the guy that saves him and starts beating him up, starts slamming his head into the concrete and killed him.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so he killed the Good Samaritan. He killed the guy that saved him on accident. Accident, air quotes, but yeah. That's
like, and that's the thing, like, it's never worth it to do that kind of stuff. Man, I saw and then bouncers, right? I've seen some bouncers do some horrific things to people. Just like these big, dude, I don't even know like what some of these dudes' problems were, right? And I watched because I went to college north of here in Cedar Falls, Iowa. I watched a guy try to sneak in the back door of a bar. A bouncer saw it, pushed him out of the bar. As he's falling backwards, clocks him one time in the chin. He's unconscious. He falls backwards. His head bounces
Oh
off
yeah,
the
dude.
concrete. And I'm like, and then the bouncer gets on top of him and starts to hit him again. And I was just like, dude, you're going to kill this guy.
Right.
And I wasn't even at the same bar. I was just kind of walking in this alleyway behind the bars. And I mean, I don't get it, man.
Yeah.
So here's my Iowa City story.
Okay.
I'm sitting in the Ped Mall, and I was with, at the time, all girls for some reason, like a group of girls that I knew from high school.
For some reason, because you're a stud. That's why.
Yeah, right. Because I'm a badass. And so I was in this one bar, and during the bars close, everybody starts to flood into the area between all the bars.
Yeah.
And I'm already out there. I'm sitting. I'm waiting for these girls to file out of the bar that we were in, and a group of guys comes up to me and they start running their mouth. And I'm like, hey guys, I just want to let you know I wasn't even in the same bar as you. So you got the wrong guy. Like
Yeah.
I was trying to get laid. I wasn't trying to pick a fight with you guys.
Right.
And the one guy was like, nah, dude, it was you. That's you. You were running your mouth. I was like, unfortunately, I was not in the same bar as you. And I reached my limit. Like, this was like 10 minutes. And finally, he's calling his buddies over.
Right.
And he's like, it's this guy here who did this thing. And I'm like, what thing? Like, I wasn't in that bar. Like, and then finally, the alcohol took a hold of me. Right. And I was like, so here's the deal. I wasn't in that bar, but now I'm sick of listening to you talk. Right. And this guy threw a punch, and I put my chin down on my chin to my chest like this.
Yeah.
And he punched the top of my head, and I heard his hand break.
Yeah.
And then I kind of pushed him away from me, and I did the old NFL punter. And I kicked him right in his dick and his balls, and he went. I can remember him making a noise like a baby cow, like. And then all of his buddies beat the absolute shit out of me,
man.
Just right there in the middle of the Ped Mall.
Yeah.
And I was a little freaked out because I was getting like hammered down on for just all that stuff. And it's one of those things where it's like, one wrong kick to a temple, one wrong, like you hear those stories all the time where, a friend of mine was at a party once, and there wasn't even any punches thrown.
Mm-hmm.
One guy pushed another guy pushed the guy back, and the guy tripped over like a rug, and he fell back and hit his head on a coffee table or something. And the dude went into a coma for I think 3 months. And this dude still has permanent disabilities, was the outcome of it. And that dude had to go to jail because of the fight. So crazy
dude,
stuff,
it's rough.
Man.
It's funny. I know it's good that we're talking about this on this, masculinity related podcast. Like I don't like to get into fights, and definitely part of it is like, using my head because I don't want it to, I don't want something freakishly bad to happen. The other part of it is like, I'm definitely afraid to, I'm afraid of getting beat up, or even if I'm not like legit afraid of the other guy, I am just aware that like just some freak thing could happen. Or like, what you said about how you fought one guy, but then his buddies jumped in. Like, that's actually kind of always been my fear of like, I could take this guy, but like, I just know that so many guys out there are pussies, and they'd rather just jump you with a bunch of dudes because they don't want to
cheap shot you somehow when you turn your back.
That's such a fear. And like, I've carried that with me for a long time, of even like having a high school bully, like one guy that fucking hated me for no reason. And I always wanted to fight him, but I was always afraid to fight him because it's like, dude, what if something bad happened in that fight? So I was always afraid to fight him. I'd probably be lying to say if I wasn't afraid of him, because he had like major anger issues. But I think I could have fought him, but I was honestly afraid to, and I've carried that with me forever of like just feeling like a pussy for not, for just avoiding the fight. But the thing is, like, I always knew if I would have fought him, even if I beat him, then he would have come back with a group of his friends and found me at a party or something, and he would have jumped me. And that's what would have happened.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. I almost kind of feel like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
It's a thing I've had to do a lot of like internal reckoning with of like, no, dude, it's good that you didn't do that. Like,
Mhm.
look how life has played out since then. You're not in a fucking wheelchair, you know?
Yeah.
Like you didn't like, well, you know, what if I would have fought him and what if he tripped over something and hit his head and I had to go to prison for like standing up for myself? Like that'd be fucked up.
And in this day and age, people get embarrassed and they don't come back with just a group of guys. They come back with a knife or a gun. And you hear those stories more and more often now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, this bully starts talking trash. Somebody stands up to themselves and is like, get away from me.
Right.
Or maybe even punches them in self-defense. He's humbled.
Yeah.
Right. And he's embarrassed. And then he comes back with a baseball bat when they're not looking or something crazy like that.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. It's really, man,
that's
it's
the
just
stuff.
not.
Yeah. And that's the stuff like I'm trying to teach my kids. It's just like, just stay away from that type of stuff. Right.
Yeah.
You know, I would say it's better to be, I don't want this because I don't want my kid to think it's acceptable to get bullied. Right. And walk away from that because that's how people might end up hurting themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or never standing up for yourself. I don't want it to be like that. But I would rather have a son who never stood up for himself and he's still here.
Yeah.
Than a kid that stood up for himself and something bad happens and he's in jail or, you know, like, or another guy, God forbid, brings a gun to school or some shit like that. And like, or takes it outside of school and shows up at the house or does, dude, I worry about those types of things all the time.
Right. I hear you. I hear you. Once people's egos start to get involved, it gets dicey. And the more insecure, the more worried you have to be about somebody doing something stupid. Dude, I love disc golf. I've been playing disc golf for 20 plus years and I was on a disc golf course and this was probably 20 years ago and I'm playing and you know, a lot of people drink out on the disc golf course and these two groups, I wasn't in either of these groups, but these two groups start like jawing at each other, you know. I think they were both drinking and they both were kind of just being like macho and they're jawing at each other and then they start getting in each other's faces and it was like especially one dude from each group getting in each other's face and I knew one of them was like an underclassman at the high school that I went to, so I knew him and you know, they're jawing and the guy that I knew was like, all right, we'll see and he leaves, goes to the parking lot, goes to his car and comes back with a knife. And then I had to step in and be like, dude, you don't want to do this. This is a bad idea. I broke the whole thing up. I said, hey, your group, you go that way. Hey, to the group of guys that I knew, like, you guys are done. You're going that way. Don't take it there.
Yeah.
On a disc golf course, dude. That's supposed to be a stoner sport. Never do that.
Just a bunch of dudes like relaxed off weed, right? Like,
it's supposed to be a big
what are you doing?
Yeah. Like, aren't you guys supposed to be high? I don't think high guys even have the motivation to go back to their car to get a knife.
Right.
It's just silly what happens when the ego gets involved.
Why do you think that is? Like, why do men? Because I get macho sometimes. I've been at a restaurant before where this was several years ago. I had my family there and there was a table of kids. I mean, there were early 20s and I may have been like late 30s at the time, maybe even 40. And I was there with my family. Right. And we were at a restaurant and it was watching a football game or something like that. Yeah. And this group of guys was extremely vulgar, extremely loud. They were drunk as shit. And, dude, I don't even like, I think I, at one point just kind of relaxed. Cause I used to be that guy, right? I used to be that guy at some point in my life.
Right.
And so I kind of leaned over. I go, hey guys, out of respect, I got my kids with me. Can you tone it down just a little bit? Right. Just a very warning.
Yeah.
Like, not even a warning, just kind of like, hey man, out of respect, please. My wife, my kids.
Yeah. You asked nicely. You didn't demand.
Yep. And I think after that, I heard a guy mock me. And then he's like, well, out of respect, wife and kids, blah, 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 blah. Right.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, I let it slide. Right. And then it kept going. And so I look at I finally, after maybe 10, 15 minutes, my wife was getting pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
She was looking at me like, if you don't fight him, I'm going to fight him. You know, like that kind of shit. I'm just like, okay, here we go.
And she's about this big.
Yeah. You're 5'1", 105 pounds. What are you going to do? Nothing. Right. And so I turn around and I just look at the guy who mocked me, and with the most serious face. And this is where I kind of felt like a badass. I looked at him and I said, I ignored his entire group because there was 3 other guys. I looked at him directly and I said, are we going to have a problem? And I said something like, because I'm fine with that.
Right.
And then he's like, nah, dude, we don't have a problem. So one thing about people that I've learned is there's always a lot of talk that happens. The people who are extremely quiet are the people that you usually have to watch out for, because they'll hit you without talking shit to you.
Yeah.
Right. And so I don't know.
Yeah,
I felt like a
roll the
badass.
dice. Yeah, good job for standing up for your family. It's just always a roll of the dice, because you never know how it's going to go. And even, I've heard a lot of trained fighters talk about, they know they could whoop the shit out of somebody, but their move is always to walk away if they can, because they all know that just takes one cheap shot, one punch that comes from the buddy's friend from the side, and even the best fighter in the world could go down. So they're like, just walk
and
away.
those guys have to really be careful, because you fight one of those guys, and you're a trained MMA professional, whether you're a wrestler or whatever the case is, and you hit someone and they get hurt real bad, they're going to sue you.
Right.
And that's by the way, that's a bitch move. If
Oh
you
yeah,
ask
totally
me.
agree.
Yeah, you talk shit, then you get knocked out, then you sue somebody for that. Come on, you can't do that.
Totally agree.
Take your man card for that.
Yep.
But why do you think men are like that?
I think my flippant answer off the top of my head is that it's probably very evolutionary, and that it literally corresponds to, we need to feel like we're strong and we don't want to look weak in front of other men, because then we'll lose our status in the group and we'll be less desirable for mating.
Mm-hmm.
I think most men are really conscious and aware of their status in the group, even if they don't want to admit that they are. I think they are. I think there's always like jockeying for position and pecking order, and you feel comfortable in groups that you're like well regarded in, and that you feel like you like stack up well with the people that you're with, and I think it goes to something evolutionary. And I think the more secure a person is, the less likely they are to fight, and I think the less secure someone is, the more likely they are to fight, because they will feel threatened more often. They'll feel like their position is threatened. Like a secure guy just won't feel that threatened. It's like, you make fun of me and I'm like, whatever, who are you?
Yeah.
But if I'm insecure, if you make fun of me, I'm like, now I have to prove myself.
Yeah.
And I think it's also, I think as much as I hate prison, because that's like, this is the topic for another time. I'm curious if you have any irrational fears. My irrational fear my whole life has always been that I would go to prison. Like, I don't know, who knows what the weird scenario would be that I would end up like standing up for some person and I'd end up going to prison, and then I'd have to live for the rest of my life in prison. Anyway, that's my irrational fear. But prison's interesting, because prison is like this huge social experiment where you can see all this shit play out. And I've heard lots of interviews with prisoners, since it's in my irrational fear. I've seen a lot of content about from people that have been in prison, and they all say the same thing, that like, when a new guy comes in, he gets tested. Always, every prison that you go into, every new guy gets tested. They'll pick on you to see if you stand up for yourself. And if you don't, then you just become the absolute bitch. You become the doormat. Everybody just exploits you. Your life is hell if you don't stand up for yourself. And they all also say the same thing, that it doesn't matter if you're the biggest, baddest, toughest guy. You don't have to be able to win every fight. like the other guys in prison just have to know that you're willing to fight. So like if they come by and they steal your brownie and you just let it happen, well, guess what? They're going to steal everything from you moving forward. But if they come by and they steal your brownie, and even if you stand up for yourself and you fight and you get your ass beat, everybody's like, all right, he stood up for himself. So you're just not an easy target. So I think that's interesting, like social experiment of basically like, I wonder what it was like, 10,000 years ago when there were no rules. And it was just like, we're just in tribes and you just do what you have to do to survive.
I want this guy's position and I want his woman. I'm going to kill him and take it. You know what I mean? Like, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's always on the table. Jesus.
Isn't that bananas? That is where humans used to be at some point.
Yeah.
Right? And
not that long ago.
I know, exactly. However, they just found a skull that dates back a human skull that dates back almost 500,000 years before what scientists perceived the birth of man, Homo sapien.
Wow.
And so now there's this other, like, wait a second, it's 500,000 years later now than we're men. And so anyway, what I'm getting at is I'm always that guy who's like, I would love to be there when this first thing happened.
Yeah.
Right. Like I would love to be there when man actually discovered fire for the first time.
Right.
Right. Or Homo sapiens or whoever it was. That would be something to see, but it would be very cool to also be there where men used to just kill each other all the time. And for some reason, this one dude just was like, I don't need this shit today. And he didn't kill somebody. And he made like, it's not good to kill people. I don't know, like a cultural change or something had to happen for men to come off of this animalistic life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That kind of always has interested me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think the world changed a lot with agriculture. Once folks stopped being nomadic, I think when people were nomadic, it was a lot of just fighting for your life. And then once we figured out how to plant crops and domesticate animals and stuff, then all of a sudden we had this stable food source. There was much less fighting amongst ourselves. I think that really died that down a lot. Probably, obviously, it never stopped it completely, but there's
if
so
I
much
kill
less
this guy
fighting for resources.
Yeah, if I kill this guy, he's not going to help me harvest this corn, and then I'll have to do it all by myself or whatever, whatever the case.
Well,
is,
I think like raiding was like so. I don't know if you've ever seen any documentaries about chimps and how they work, but chimps have their packs. I don't even know what they call them, packs, gangs, whatever. They have their big groups, right? And there's a leader, and the leader can be challenged. And then there's other groups of chimps in the jungle too, and they have their borders, and they literally patrol their borders.
Yep.
And they clash sometimes and fight, and it's fucking nasty because they rip each other apart limb from limb alive, and it's horrible. And if one group of chimps finds a single chimp from another group, just happens to like be too far away from his group, they catch him, they shred him. Like that's similar to what we came from.
Yeah.
Nuts. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. And again, but so all of that though is fighting over territory, resources, and females.
Yes.
And so as soon as, which, we can still see a lot of this, but like resources is the main thing that hasn't, the resources is the main thing that's changed. Once we learned how to do agriculture and grow crops on purpose, then all of a sudden resources became a lot more abundant. So there was a lot less of that wandering around, battling other tribes, that sort of shit. But I think, guys have fought over women forever. It still happens. Dude, today's Friday. I guarantee you, I would bet my house that there will be a fight in downtown Iowa City on the Ped Mall tonight over a woman.
Yeah.
Would you take that bet?
I'd take it.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Guys still fight over women.
Yeah.
Territory.
Yeah. I don't know. It's that it's just crazy how animalistic things used to be and especially when for me, like I know a lot about how animals work and how mating works from just being a hunter, right? And then also just being into that kind of thing, right? So here's my daughter and my wife were watching this documentary about lions, right? And it was a Disney documentary. And the documentary was like, or it was like a Disney-ish, was like, look at this female. She has her cubs. Oh, look at the cubs. Oh, here comes the dad. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, the dad, oh, here comes another male lion. Oh, they're fighting and he's protecting him and he won. Yay. And that kind of stuff. Right. But in the real world, like, are you familiar with like male lions and any cat?
Yeah. They'll kill
they will kill the females, all of the babies. And then that female will go back into heat. They will rebreed them and now have their bloodline instead of somebody else's bloodline.
Yeah.
So that is horrific behavior for your bloodline. Like you're killing babies at this point. And it's the stuff that no one ever talks about and how brutal nature actually is. And I think there's definitely overflow from like nature into the humans, because when you kind of boil it down, we're still kind of animals at some point.
Not even kind of. I think I literally had this conversation with a client yesterday, and I do fairly often that, if our species is however many tens of thousands of years old, then this level of safety and like culture that we have is brand new. Like our brains haven't adapted to this yet. So like our brains are not that far removed from being hunter gatherers and fighting with warring tribes.
500 years.
Yeah.
500 years, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you were a native on the plains or anywhere 500 years ago, you weren't thinking you were safe all the time. You were like, you were going to go raid some other tribe, or you were worried about getting raided. And then they would kill the men. They would enslave the women. They would kill the kids that were too small to be easily taken care of. And then they would incorporate the kids that were of age into their tribe. And that was just normal.
Yeah.
And they tortured each other.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. We're not that far removed. So it's like, we're trying to be like, man, why am I anxious? I shouldn't be anxious. Things are good. It's like, your brain doesn't know that things are good.
Yeah.
Your brain is responding as if you're getting chased by an animal, or as if you think that there's like another tribe that might be trying to kill you. Your brain is responding with that level of intensity to like, oh geez, what if I'm going to be late to work? Oh, I've got a big test coming. Like our brains aren't used to this comfortable lifestyle yet. And it's going to take thousands of years to adapt to that.
That's crazy.
We're actually at an interesting time of human existence, because I wonder what things will be like for humans 10,000 years from now that have had a number of generations of life being this easy. Because we don't have that many generations ahead of us of life being this easy.
No. Technology continues to make things easier and easier and easier until we have a Skynet moment where the robots turn on us and murder us all. You know what I mean? And so, but that's crazy. It's like these animalistic impulses where and I've talked about this before, right? And sophistication and being polite and being kind to one another, man, you still get these animalistic impulses. Like when a girl with a low cut shirt walks by, you're married. You know that whatever, like you probably shouldn't approach that, but the thought still pops in your head about certain things. And being able to control it obviously is where we have evolved at this point. But the thought is still there. That's something that no matter how hard, especially men, right? How hard we try, we still have the impulse in our that's wired into us at some point, right? And that fascinates me because there's times where, even older guys who are just done, they probably haven't had sex in years, right?
Yeah.
A woman walks by and their head turns, and that's like just naturally goes boop, boop, right?
Yeah. Right.
Did you know there was a study done that the fastest decision that a man can make, and they've documented this, the fastest decision a man can make is looking at a woman and knowing if he wants to have sex with her or not.
Really?
I'm dead serious.
Oh, I believe it. It's funny.
It's like, yes, no, boom. Yes, no, boom. Like, boom, yes. Boom, no. Yeah, boom, yes.
Yeah, you're either attracted or you aren't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it is, and so like you ask a guy like basically at the same time whether or not they have the capacity to avoid an accident while driving a car, it has to be split-second decision. Yeah. They can make a decision on that faster than they can avoiding an accident.
Right. That's hilarious.
When I was watching this, I was like, that kind of stuff blows my mind.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's super funny.
So
I should read that study.
But I guess that's what it takes to keep a species or the human race moving forward.
Oh yeah.
Right. You need to have like
every species.
Yeah, no babies are going to be born if you just sit there and ponder, should I impregnate this female?
Right.
Like nothing happens that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's really interesting how much we have to fight our own instincts. And it's interesting to me too that there's creatures living amongst us that don't do that at all. Like if you have a house cat or if you have a pet dog, like that thing's all instinct. That thing, it hears a sound, it perks right up. If it's enough, it jumps up and barks. It can't even help it, dude. And you can be like, shut up. It just, dude, it doesn't have the thinking part. It just has the automatic action part. But we're the ones that are like, wait a minute now, what should I do here? What do I think about this? What would be the socially acceptable thing to do? What's the best course of action here? No other animals think that. Every other animal, a stimulus happens, they respond to it however the fuck they decide to respond to it, and that's that.
Yeah. So here's something crazy. Here's something that I thought, and I want to get your take on this. I'm a deer hunter, right? And we hunt during the breeding season. So there's a window of 60-ish days in the whitetail world where, and this is the law of averages. I could go way more complex, but I'm not going to. Give or take 60 days of whitetail doe can be bred. Okay. But it's only for a 60-day window.
Yeah.
All right. And the males only have a 60-day window to breed females.
Yeah.
And they will lose up to 40% of their body weight at times, in extreme cases, running around the countryside trying to breed does. Yeah. And I mean, so basically they're skipping sleep, they're skipping food, and they're only thinking about breeding, right?
I get it. Yeah.
Imagine what would happen in a human society today if there was only a 60-day window every single year that you could have sex in.
Dude, that's a movie.
I know, right?
Okay,
the breeding season.
Whatever, breeding season. Oh, man. Yeah. That's a movie right there.
That would be absolutely, like the human race only moves forward at one time of the year.
Yeah,
right? You
can
only,
it has to. And everybody takes it seriously. Every country in the whole world plans their whole year around it. Breeding season.
My God.
That's Dan Johnson's idea. If anybody ever makes that movie, you owe Dan.
It's almost like The Purge, right? But
you read my mind.
A weirder version of The Purge.
Yeah. Creepier version if that's possible.
Exactly.
Like I wonder. Like I know what the male deer's mindset is during that. Yeah. What's the doe's mindset during that season? Are they like, oh God damn it, it's October, shit,
here we go,
or are they like, all right, here we go?
Well, actually,
what's their body language tell you, Dan?
A mature doe who's been through it several times before have been reported to go seek out the male when she is ready to breed. She goes and seeks out the most dominant male that there is.
Yeah.
So that buck would breed her, and she knows that she has the best genetics moving forward.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't always happen, but that there is a theory there. The big buck, the most dominant animal, will go and find the most ready doe, who the first one he'll get no matter what. He'll get her, right? And as he's off with her, then all this other jockeying for position happens with the rest of them, right? But that guy usually gets his first take. And then the fighting starts to happen when a majority of the does have been, or when certain does have been bred, and then two equal forces meet each other. And that's usually the only time. Like, if I walk into a field where there's females and then a 16-year-old who's there, well, it's going to be no problem for me to push this 16-year-old away and go breed this doe. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's crazy. But you think about it, in humans, if that was the case, then there's no need for marriage anymore.
Right.
Right. Why am I putting up with all of this stuff that I put up with? I could go like, I don't need any of this anymore. I don't need it.
Yeah.
But we're not.
Right.
We're not like that. We're not like that.
Right.
And I'm guessing that has to do with maybe how we have evolved, because I'm sure there was a time where we would hit it and forget it, right? The mom would have the baby and we would leave and go do our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I think we've evolved as a group to be group oriented, because like babies can't walk like deer can walk right away.
Right.
Like we have to hold a baby and we have to feed it for over, 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
In order for it to even run away from danger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
right. Yeah.
I get a kick out of all that stuff.
Oh, I do too. I think it's super interesting. And again, I think it's really neat to see, to be able to observe chimps and bonobos and the other monkeys that are really similar to us. Because to me, that's probably a glimpse of what early humans were like.
Yeah.
500,000 years ago.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the picture of a monkey, and he had like some kind of skin issue, and all the black pigment went away, and he lost some hair on his hand, and they took a picture of it next to a human hand and how similar the fingers look and the wrinkles on the skin and all that.
Wow.
People are like, is this a human hand or a chimpanzee hand?
Wow.
And you look at it, and obviously their hands look much different to the untrained eye. It may be like, oh, that's a human hand. But it's crazy how similar we are to them. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Go watch a documentary where they fight. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
they rip each other's faces off. They bite each other's hands and feet off. They bite each other's dicks and balls off on purpose. Oh my God, dude. They just shred each other.
Just imagine if humans fought like that, like at the Ped Mall tonight.
You did. You freaking punted that guy.
Well, but I didn't bite his dick off. Just imagine if that kind of stuff was going down at the Ped Mall. Like, we're fighting over a woman. I'm going to bite your fingers and dick off tonight, and that way you can't breed. And then I'm going to bite your nose off.
God.
Just crazy. Here's where the tricky part, the weird part for me is, and I'll be honest, like I'm going through something right now. I was raised in a church. All right. And I would go to church every Sunday, and every Wednesday was youth group. Every Sunday was church. And then we were involved heavy in the church until I turned 18. And then when I went off to college, I kind of stepped away from all of that. Right. And my views on religion had changed over the course of that period of time. And something happened as recent as this Charlie Kirk thing that went down, to where something happened to me. When that happened, I felt like a giant weighted blanket. I mean, just imagine, it laid down on top of me. And I just felt like I was getting pulled into the ground. right? And in my brain, my brain was telling me this one guy particular just popped into my brain, and with the idea I need to call him. Okay. Well, that guy is Brody. You know Brody.
Yeah.
Right.
Great.
And so I called him, or I texted. I'm like, dude, what? Like, I don't know why I'm even calling you and stuff like that. Well, this is a very long way of saying that religion is something that is only specific to the human race, right? And there's different religions and different groups of people that believe different things, because humans have the ability to believe different things. And we talked about last week, we talked about things people do to get happy.
Right.
Okay. And for some people, that's finding a religion to support. In your experience, have you ever suggested, or do you ever talk to people who are depressed or down in their life that maybe it might be a good idea to go to a church or a religious men's group, or maybe, the term is find Jesus.
Yeah.
Is that anything that counselors do?
Oh, it absolutely can be. Yeah. I've had that conversation with lots of people. It's something that, it depends. Often with the client, I'll already know that that's a thing. I'll know that's a thing that's already present in their life or has been at some point. Like if you were my client, you when we first started working together, you likely would have told me that you used to be involved in the church and stuff. And I would have packed that away in case I needed to remember it later. And then when it came, if you're struggling, I might bring that back up and offer that as a possible path. I bring it up for people that haven't brought it up to me, and I like to bring up lots of paths, and I'll basically be like, hey, I'm just gonna throw out some ideas, and you let me know what sounds most interesting to you, and anything that I mention that you're not interested in, no problem, we'll just move on from. And I do mention religion or getting connected with different groups or religious groups for sure. And for some people, it's awesome if you can find a healthy, to me, it's one of the best things that religion has to offer. If you can be in a healthy group, it can be awesome. Like you mentioned Brody, like Brody's a great example. He's a great human.
Yeah.
That's a great example of how you could get connected with a great human through religion. You also know that there's shitty people out there that are religious too, but that's true of absolutely everything. You could be in any, there's awesome hunters and there's shitty hunters. It doesn't really, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that is definitely a thing that I bring up to people. And I think a lot of people get a lot of strength and support from religious communities. Cause I think the people whose hearts are in the right place are fucking awesome people.
Yeah.
And I think most religious texts, I'm obviously not an expert on any of them. I've read the Bible, and I know that it's full of really amazing lessons. There's also a lot of stuff in there that's confusing, but there's a lot of really, really good lessons, like life lessons, like ways to live your life. And even if you didn't believe in God, if you took God, I'm not saying you should do this, but if you took God out of the Bible, all of the lessons still work.
Right.
Like, be cool to people. Don't steal.
Yeah. Don't be a dick, basically.
Don't be a dick. Don't, try not to borrow money from people. Treat people well. Like all of that. All of those are just good lessons, whether or not you believe in God.
Yeah. 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 That's the crazy part in this world that we live in. And I'm not telling people, like, I don't want to come on here and preach.
Right.
Right. Because I am a long way from that. But what I'm getting at is there's not all religions, but a majority of religions tell you to be a good person. If you are a good person, your life will be good, right? And so that is where I'm surprised more people aren't in some type of religion, right? I know there's a lot of religions and there's a lot of people out there, but dude, I would just go as far as our friend group that like there's probably less people who are regulars at church than there are people who don't do anything religious. You know what I mean? And so I would say if there's a group of people out there who are downtrodden and they're sad and I like, again, taking God out of it, finding a group of people who do put God in their life might be an option for you and your family to regain the direction it needs to be happy again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just from a pure happiness standpoint.
Right.
Right. I don't want to get into all of what happens when you are quote unquote saved and you accept God and things like that. Just as I'm in the gutter right now and I feel like shit. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to get out of this emotional gutter that I'm in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah. No, I absolutely agree. I think becoming a member of a healthy group is incredible.
Yeah.
No matter what that group is.
Exactly.
And it's sad when some groups prey on people that are not healthy, and so then they pull them in and indoctrinate them in unhealthy ways. That makes me really sad.
Yeah.
It also sucks when people that are in what could be a really good group use that group poorly and then ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like not all religious groups are the same. And I would guess even in the same city, two religious groups that come from the same denomination aren't necessarily the same. It could be that one's fucking awesome and they're just incredible people and they would do anything for you and they're just going to try and help guide you in your own best interest. And another group could be like manipulative and
100%
get resources from you. So it's like, God,
100%.
people just ruin it. We just ruin things for ourselves sometimes.
Exactly. And that's in all aspects of life, right?
Yeah.
It's where the animalistic, and I keep using that word, but that's what it is. The animalistic thoughts and desires come into play, like drug addiction and just being an asshole. Like, I wonder if there was a way to tell if, like, you know, that there's that movie, right, with Justin Timberlake, and he has how society has a clock. If you don't replenish this clock, you die. It's as soon as you turn 25 years old, you're put, and then you die.
Starts counting down.
Right? Unless you start to replenish that with money and work and all of that stuff, right? And so this high society replenishes that with time, right? And so they do crazy things and to get what it is they need to keep that going. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, that's a good movie.
I've actually always wanted to watch it. I know the movie you're talking about, and I've never seen it, and I've always been interested to watch it because I really wonder. I wonder how they get more time, and I know that they can, like, the only thing I've seen is that they can bet, like, oh, I'll bet you X amount of days or years or whatever. But
they can bet, they can give each other time, they can they work for it, right? The job now is time. There's no dollar amount. So they get paid, for an hour of work, they get paid 20 minutes, or something like that.
Wow,
and then whatever, or something. Yeah, I don't know what it was. But.
Well, I mean, that's part, because we were talking about how a good group can be cool, but humans can ruin anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that triggered in you, but.
I don't remember. I don't know why Justin Timberlake popped into my head. I had a huge brain fart there.
No, that's all right.
Went off on a tangent.
That's okay.
But I don't know. I think what society needs to understand, and this is just my personal opinion, is that being good is cool, man. Like,
yeah.
If you're an asshole, I wish you could. Oh, that's where I was going. If I wish there was a little hologram on your head that said asshole. And then you could sit there and interview those, like, why are you such an asshole? Well, I'm an asshole because of these things. Well, that most of the time assholes, and dude, there's times where I'm an asshole, but it's usually triggered by something.
Yeah.
And then is that thing that triggers you worth it or not? And usually the answer is no. And so I don't know. Great. Like, just be a good person, be good, be nice, be kind. Those are the things that society needs more of.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
We don't
I
need
totally
more
agree.
assholes. We got plenty of assholes, man.
Right.
We got plenty of them. We need to
Yeah.
be better at a little bit better every day. That's what I say.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I to me, it's a fun thing to try to instill in my kids is my philosophy for life has always been, I've seen my life as one long pursuit of just picking up the best people I meet as I go.
Yeah.
And then trying not to let go of them within reason. So like I still have, last weekend I went to a music festival with two of my best friends from like kindergarten. Like I've got lots of friends that from kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and I've just like picked people up along the way that I've added to my, list of friends. And it's basically like anybody that I run into that I'm like, whoa, you're fucking cool. You're super nice. Oh, you're like a really stand-up person. Like I really respect you. Dude, I invest in those people.
Yeah.
Like that's a big part of why I'm doing this podcast with you. Like if
Yep.
you weren't a person like that I respected and you approached me like, hey dude, let's do a podcast. I'd be like, oh shoot, man. Yeah, well,
I got diarrhea.
yeah, pretty busy. That's a cool idea though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think, it's been my life. I give a lot of credit for why my life is as good as it is because I think I've done a really good job, and for some reason it's a huge core value of mine to notice good people and then befriend them and invest in them and try to be a good friend to them too, because that won't last very long if you become friends with a really good person and then you use them or you're shitty to them. They're not going to stick around you for very long. So I try to be a good friend to my friends. So I'll notice who's a good person to be around, and then I'll invest in them forever.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I've got a great life.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think this has been what I call in the podcast realm that I work in, I call this a BS session.
Right.
We didn't cover anything really. We just talked. And sometimes, and kind of bringing it back to the therapy standpoint, I think sometimes just having somebody to talk to, even if it's about nothing, is extremely important.
Yeah.
If a person is feeling low or down,
Totally agree.
If you know someone who's down and they may have a problem, or your gut tells you they have a problem, call them up and just have a BS session with them. And that might, or maybe you yourself are feeling low and you need to call someone up and just have a BS session with them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love it. I think you are totally correct. When I drive to and from work and my commute's about a half hour, that's the time I'm calling. I'm like kind of making my rounds, calling the people that I don't get to see regularly to keep those relationships good. And it is like, sometimes I'll have like a thing that I want to talk to somebody about. And sometimes it just feels good to like BS and get some thoughts off my mind, or, just basically be entertained. Like during this podcast, one of my best friends called me. I know he just dropped his kids off at school and he's driving home now and he's just calling to BS.
Yeah.
And it's good. It feels good to feel connected. I think if we go too long without talking to anybody, we start to feel isolated. I think our thoughts can start to get more and more focused on the negative. Our thoughts get caught up in circular thinking. When our thoughts get caught up in circular thinking, we come to the same stuck points because we don't have any new ideas being interjected from other people. So once our thoughts come to the same stuck points, that's when we spiral down.
Yep.
And a lot of that can be avoided if you would just talk to other people. And it doesn't even have to be a heart-to-heart with your best friend, but it could be just a fun, lighthearted conversation with somebody that you like.
Yeah.
So I think you're right on.
I don't know how many times in my past I've been pissed off about something, and then I talk to someone about something, and then what that does is it just changes my mood. It makes me forget about what I was even pissed off about in the first place, which means it wasn't important.
Right. Oh yeah, so, totally agree. Like even just using this friend that just called me as an example, there'll be times when I'm just like, I'll self-isolate, and sometimes I'm just in my head and I'll see the phone ring and I'll be like, I don't want to answer that. I don't feel like talking to anybody right now.
Right.
But then I'll be like, I feel guilty not answering. Like, this friend actually always answers when I call. So
Yeah.
I'll be like, I'll answer and then we'll talk. And just a couple minutes into it, I'm like, I'm in a good mood. I'm like, yeah, dude, of course you should answer the phone when one of your best friends calls. It's like, I just learn about myself, my capacity to self-isolate, and how it's funny that it feels like it makes sense when you're in the moment. But if I go ahead and answer the phone, I've literally never regretted it. It's always been the better decision to answer the phone when my friend calls.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Kyle, I'm sending good vibes your way for the rest of the weekend until we talk again.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks for taking time out of your day. For all of you who are listening, do me a huge favor. Go to iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you download and listen to the Man Therapy podcast. Give us a 5-star review. Hopefully this episode isn't going to change your life, but hopefully you're getting something out of this, even if it's just a little bit. All right. Leave a review. Tell everybody that you like this. Share this with your friends. Kyle, any final thoughts?
We're all cavemen.
We're all cavemen. I like that. Thanks. Have a good day.
You too.